Okay, great. I want to thank everyone this morning for joining us and welcome you to the Missouri Public Transit Association's educational series. Today, we're focusing on wellness at the worksite during COVID. We know the topic is most important than ever as employees are dealing with COVID fatigue, Zoom fatigue, and isolation issues from working from home. Not to mention the everyday stress of dealing with a pandemic in our lives, which is something we have never experienced before. Before we get started, first I'd like to welcome the MPTA board members who are here with us this morning. Thank you for attending. We can't really point you out in a crowd, but we really want to thank you for your leadership and support of public transit in Missouri. And thank you for joining us today. Second, I'd like to thank Mallory Box in my office for setting up this webinar. I think that these are really important opportunities for transit providers across Missouri to hear about different topics and education opportunities, so thank you. Today, we have the opportunity to really explore this important topic for any Missouri transit providers with the help of our MPTA member, Bi-State Development. I'd like to welcome Bi-State Wellness Manager Tiffany Helms and Cigna On-Site Benefits Coverage and Wellness Manager Lindsay Loftus, who will be outlining the programs underway at Bi-State and ways in which these programs have changed since the start of the pandemic in March. Please be sure to place your questions in the chat box if you have any for our speakers today, and I promise we will get to those as quickly as possible. So welcome everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us. I know that there is Zoom fatigue out there, so we really appreciate you continuing to jump on with us during these times. And I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay and Tiffany. Thank you ladies for joining us today.
Thanks for having us. So I guess I'll let you know we need to advance for the presentation.
She shook her head, Tiff.
Okay, cool. All right, great. So good morning, everyone. My name is Tiffany Helms. I'm the Wellness Manager at Bi-State Development. I'd like to thank you for being here today and for giving us this opportunity to present our wellness program. And then before we dive into the presentation, I'd like to give each of our team members a chance to introduce themselves because we have Lindsay and then we have two others that are in our department that are on the call today as well. So I'm going to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves.
So I'm Lindsay Loftus. I am the Cigna Benefits and Wellness Manager for Bi-State Development.
Hi guys, I'm Kiana. I am our Wellness Manager for Bi-State.
Hi everybody, I am Vlad Reagan. I'm the Wellness Specialist for Bi-State.
Great. So we are Bi-State Development. We're a catalyst for innovation, collaboration, and progress. Besides our largest entity, which is Metro Transit, Bi-State operates the gateway parts of the transit, the St. Louis Regional Freeway, and also the St. Louis Downtown Airport.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Is it just me, or are we having a little bit of a hard time hearing her? Is that just me?
There's definite static. It's difficult.
Is there static? Let me take the headphones off. Maybe that'll help. Is that any better?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh, way better. Thank you so much.
The headphones. I've been having a problem with them, so maybe I've got to throw those out and get new ones, I guess. Okay, you can go ahead and advance to the next slide. Thank you. So we have around 2,500 employees on average, with about 5,400 members covered on the medical plan. And the workforce is made up of both union and non-union employees, as well as both blue and white collar positions. And as most of you, know very well, we're basically a 24/7 operation. And so all these factors come into play whenever we think about designing the wellness initiatives and the wellness programming at Bi-State. And you can advance. So the wellness program at Bi-State was developed in 2012, and then it has grown and changed ownership over the years. It was at the beginning mostly contractual-based programming, and then we brought it in-house and we located it under risk management. And then we changed again to where we permanently sit, which is underneath the guidance of our benefits department. Can you guys all hear me okay now? I just want to make sure.
That's better.
Great. All right, you can go ahead and advance. And this is the structure of the wellness department. Each person plays a very important role in keeping the program successful. And we'll go into more details about each of these roles a little later on in the presentation. And you can advance. This is the mission statement of our program, to provide employees and their households with all the necessary resources to achieve, maintain, and live a healthy lifestyle. And this is at the core of every program that we provide, and it's a continuous priority for us. So when we look to come up with new ideas or new programs or new events, this is where we always head back to. This is the priority for us. And you can go to the next one. Around 3 years ago, we decided we wanted to brand the department. We wanted to make it stand out to our employees and provide a more unified sense of programming. And so Revitalize 360, Vital Health, Vital Wealth, Vital Self is what came out of that branding process. We really wanted to emphasize that the program focuses on all components of well-being, including the physical components, but also financial stability and mental and emotional well-being as well. We really are focusing on encompassing the whole person. And that's kind of where the 360 falls into play. And this is a short list of the major programs that we provide for physical well-being of our employees and their families. So all the programs that you see listed here are available to our employees, retirees, and their families. The most important the most popular on-site activities include the biometric screenings and the cancer and cardiovascular screenings. These are events that we normally provide in the springtime, which is right when COVID-19 was starting to hit this past year. And so we will discuss how we managed to provide the on-site screenings despite COVID and why it was so important to us that we did. And then outside of the on-site screenings, we also have fitness centers that are located at every metro garage that many of our employees utilize on a daily basis. We know that the nature of transit work and how sedentary and stressful these positions can be. So by offering a free and convenient fitness center at work, many of our employees enjoy a quick workout or stretching session before the beginning of a shift to increase their alertness and energy before they go out on their route.
Tiffany, I don't mean to interrupt. Is there any way that you could pull yourself maybe closer to the mic on your laptop? There's still a lot of feedback and it's pretty difficult to understand.
Okay, hold on a sec. Let me see how close I can get.
Sorry, that's much better when you're closer. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I want to make sure people hear what you guys have to say.
It's not important. Yeah, my camera and my microphone are located like in the bottom of the screen, so it's kind of odd. But is that it?
The closer you are, the better it is, for sure.
A megaphone, I think. This is the world we're living in, right? The Zoom technology world. Okay, so a lot of the employees also work with our wellness specialists and our coordinator in the fitness centers, and they focus on a lot of work-related and specific areas that they need help with. So, for example, they'll work on core strength to alleviate back pain, or stretches to work on their mobility. A lot of things that are kind of transit-oriented and transit-focused. And then we also offer 2 weight loss programs that are administered digitally, so they're easy to access. And we actually had those in place before COVID hit. So that was a pretty, a seamless process once COVID hit. Is this any better, or am I still like?
It's getting there. You got to look down at the mic or something.
Hey, Tiff. it only kind of cuts away whenever you turn your head, and it must be the way your camera or your microphone is set up. That's all.
How's that? I'll just hold it right here, real close to me. Okay. All right, you can go ahead and advance. Thank you. So in addition to the on-site programs that we offer for physical health, I also mentioned that we provide on-site financial well-being opportunities via educational seminars. And we cover a variety of different topics, include retirement, social security, finances, and budgeting. So in addition, our employees also have a lot of opportunities that are available to them through the Employee Assistance Program. So they can talk to many professionals regarding legal assistance or financial planning. And we know that having a sense of financial security is important to everyone. And so we want to make sure that we are providing the opportunities to support our workforce here as well. Thank you. And then the vital self component of our program centers around mental, emotional, and social well-being. Mental health, we all know, has become a huge focus for everyone. And it's really been an important focus for us over the last few years. And even more so now that we've all adapted to the ways of living during a pandemic. And so we also understand that the transit line of work can be very uniquely stressful. And so we took some time to get direct feedback from our employees so that we better understood the specific matters that our employees are dealing with. There's no health without mental health. And this is something that we take very seriously at Bi-State. Now that we've kind of gone over an overview of the wellness program, we wanted to touch on a key component that has made us successful and that has helped us stay connected and even maybe connect with more employees during COVID. And that component out are the relationships we have with the workforce. So you can see the 5 pillars that we consider for our program to be the reason that we're successful, which include relationships, branding and innovation, practicality and realism, collaborations, and leadership. However, we're going to focus on relationships today and why this is so important.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor for us to be able to speak with you guys today. I'm going to take over the next couple of slides. So I kind of said this before COVID, and I'm sure I will say it after COVID. Relationships are the #1 key to any successful wellness program in any setting that you're in our opinion. We know from experience and the amount of time that you have to put into the relationships with the employees at Bi-State. It is definitely a huge commitment. It's very time consuming, but it's worth every minute that you put in when you continually increase engagement and you get feedback from the population themselves. We not only take the time to go out to the facilities and offer the services that you saw in the previous slides, but we also just go out and talk to them and really get to know them and get to know their struggles. We meet every person where they are. We don't expect them to meet us at any certain point. We're a very hands-off, I guess you would say. So we don't, we're pretty much there for them when they need us. We're not pushy. We don't push ourselves on them or the events that we bring to them. They will come to us when they're ready and have the need or a need to come to one of us for something. So once you build that solid foundation, then they're comfortable with you and they trust you. And so you'll be one of the first people that they will come to if they do have a need. We let our relationships at Bi-State speak for themselves, and our participation has really only ever gone up from this. You can flip to the next slide. So during COVID, we had to depend on these relationships more than ever once the pandemic hit, because we knew we would have to shift a lot of what we were doing to a virtual setting, like the one we're on right now. So we knew we would have to stay connected, not only with those that we already had participation and engagement with and an established relationship with, but also with those that had not had much of a relationship with us before. As you'll see soon in the video, so Vlad did a great video that you guys are going to see pretty soon. We have used every single platform available to stay connected to all the employees as much as we can. We also knew that with the pandemic brought a lot of additional stress, isolation, and worry. So we have increased our mental health offering, not only through the EAP program, which we increased to 6 free sessions, but we also found dedicated licensed therapists who agreed to do direct contact to our employees that they could call at any time. If you click to the next slide, Mallory. Thank you. Now, Kiana is going to go a little bit more into detail on this.
Hi, guys. So during COVID, we really shifted our focus from weight loss and workout progression to sustaining mental health and well-being. Our wellness initiatives have largely targeted stress and anxiety, which are inevitable during like an uncertain time. So we've been able to combat this by teaching the importance of maintaining routines. So we've really replaced getting ready for the office and commuting to work with getting ready for the day and being productive and setting yourself up for success. So keeping in line with that, from the physical aspect, we have replaced workout progression and intensity with getting movement during the day. So that kind of takes us into the 31 days of movement, if you want to go to the next one. So this program was meant to promote movement in a way that would be fun, break up the day, and not seem overwhelming. So every day during the month of May, there would be a new stretch or balancing exercise or mindfulness technique. And employees were encouraged to challenge their friends and coworkers and comment on movements and encourage their fellow coworkers. So this brought a camaraderie that really helped promote those 5 pillars that we were talking about before. So initiatives like this have really aided in our success, and it really shows our adaptability as a department, which has been crucial during this time.
So as pretty much everyone has said, we knew that how we interact with employees was going to be different, but we still wanted to be able to meet the needs of the employees regardless of the situation. When it came to employees wanting to continue their regular workouts with us, we effectively utilized digital platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom. And in the following video, I'm going to explain that in greater detail with why our personal relationships are so important.
Would you guys let me know if you can or can't hear the video?
You can just barely hear it, Mallory.
Thank you. All right, give me just 1 second. I'm going to come out and go back in.
Hello, my name is Vlad Reagan, and I'm the Wellness Specialist at Bi-State Development. In this video, I'm going to touch on the aspects of our wellness program that the wellness specialists are most involved in. I'm also going to talk about what has worked for us and some of the things we've done to adjust to COVID. As the wellness specialist, it's my job to help the employees maintain or regain their health, be it physical, mental, or emotional. I have one-on-one sessions with employees, and they can go a few different ways. We can be talking about an injury they had and discussing some ways to recover. We can be talking about nutrition and little things they can do to improve their diet, or we can be getting in a good workout, the same as having a personal trainer. The great thing is that we can work out on site because each facility has its own gym. This makes it much easier for the employee to exercise, especially right now with COVID. The main thing that I focus on is that I'm teaching the employees something and not just giving them generic information. If we're working out, I want them to learn how to do these exercises on their own when I'm not around. The workout itself is important, but this one-on-one interaction is what allows us to listen to employees and get to know them on a personal level. And this leads to a lot of conversations about other aspects of health like nutrition or mental health. Many times they will open up to me and ask me questions about things they've seen online or about the latest fad diets. I almost always start off my answer by saying, well, do you want the answer that you want to hear, or do you want the truth? And a lot of times when I'm finished explaining, they respect that I told them the truth. They appreciate that I saved them time, pain, and money. This is what builds that trust because they know that I will tell them the truth, even when the truth is more of a difficult answer to hear. While my background is mostly in the physical aspect of health, I want to make sure that the employees are mentally and emotionally healthy. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but sometimes an employee just needs someone to talk to or just someone to listen to them. Building that personal relationship is how you get a wellness program to be successful. I know all about the employees' families and what they do in their personal time, and they know all about me. I'm not just the personal trainer, I'm a person, I'm a friend, and they trust me. Building that trust is the single most challenging aspect of creating a wellness program in a corporate environment. Some of these relationships take years to build because many employees just don't trust a large corporation. Here's a Facebook post by one of our employees right after one of our sessions. He says, "My trainer teaches me on building muscle and keeping my health in order. Good workout today." Employees are excited about the wellness program, and it's this type of employee that gets others involved. And you can see it in the responses. This employee in particular is always pulling people into the workout room to introduce me to other employees, and he raves about how helpful it is to his health. It's also common to receive random text messages from employees showing that they're motivated. I will often get phone calls after hours from an employee that is at the grocery store, and they will be asking me about certain foods and what to buy. Historically, business environments are portrayed as much more formal. Everyone is there to get the job done, not be too personal, and to keep it professional. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to maintain a wellness program, the only way to keep it professional is to be very personal. With COVID shutting everything down, we had to make some adjustments with how we maintain those personal relationships and how to still be available to the employees. This meant calling and checking on employees as much as possible and just letting them know that we're still here if they need us. We have a wellness group on Facebook, which became very active. Kiana, our wellness coordinator, put up one video per day for a month showing a different exercise each day that the employees could do at home. Some of these were very easy, and some of them were a little bit more difficult. We would also post an entire short workout that the employees could try to follow along with us. Something that we've always done is created workout plans or videos tailored for each individual. Once again, this comes down to really knowing that individual and designing a program around their specific goals or their health-related restrictions. A few of the other things that we do are creating monthly newsletters that cover a variety of health topics. We also create digital material that is played on our media screens at every facility. We also created cards that are given to all the operators, and they are hand-picked stretches and exercises that would benefit a bus or train operator based upon their job. We would try to post the latest information about COVID so that the employees could stay up to date with that as well. Working from home also allowed us to create many different educational videos for the employees to be able to view anytime they wanted. These videos ranged from information about high blood pressure, diabetes, different aspects of nutrition, and exercise-related topics. But the video that garnered the most attention, that I received the most positive feedback on, was this one. The reason why this video had the greatest effect is because it humanizes us and shows that we are just people. We can still have fun and be personal and professional. Knowing your audience, which is your employees, is so important because if you don't know them on a personal level, it's very difficult to reach them. I'm sure that Lindsay can speak to this, that her demeanor and outgoing attitude with the employees is exactly what gets them to trust her and take part in wellness events. And that in turn causes those employees to get other employees to take part in wellness events. I hope this video gave a little insight into what we do at Bi-State to push forward with wellness. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about just increasing mental health. Obviously, this is COVID, so we pretty much knew we had to get right back out there and bring some sense of normal back to the population at Bi-State. Although many of our lives and working conditions changed, we obviously know theirs did not. They were still out there every single day doing and working as they always had, because they are the essential worker that is talked about. And they don't have the freedom to just move their work setting like most of us do. We wanted them to not only see us again, but also be able to bring them the events that they look forward to with us every year. It was very important to us to get back because of the limited amount of doctors' appointments. Doctors were canceling, they were closing, and just the overall healthcare kind of crisis that was going on due to the pandemic. We usually do our biometric screenings in April, May, and June. Mallory, will you go to the next slide?
One more or on-site considerations?
You can leave it there. That's fine. You guys will see kind of what I'm talking about on the next slide. And I'm going to say you're looking at the slide, but you're not, because I'm still going to go into some of this. So we usually do our biometric screenings in April, May, and June. Those got delayed multiple times this year. We were actually able to start those on July 1st. And with the impact to the schedule, we usually try and stretch it out. We had to do a very compact schedule, as you'll see on the next slide. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so there's our schedule. As you see, we do quite a bit and quite a few. With this being said, obviously we had to take into consideration all PPE and any other consideration that needed to be taken into at each and every single event that we did this year. We only opened some of the events to employees only, so that people were not coming into the buildings. Other events we were actually able to hold outside so that we could allow families and retirees to join in as well. Our ultrasound screener, it's a company called Cardiovascular. We've worked with them for the past 4 years. This is probably one of our most sought after screenings now, because it is done through ultrasound and it's you and them in a private room. And they were nice enough to provide us with their mobile van. They actually have a mobile van so that spouses and retirees that wanted to do that screening would still be allowed to do the screening and not have to come into the building. As you can imagine, you have to think outside of the box, obviously, and put every single safety measure possible in place for everyone who's involved. Is that the end of the slides? Okay, so I hope you guys have enjoyed the time you've had with us. Again, it was an honor to be able to bring you guys this presentation. And we're going to open it up to anybody who has any questions for us. And you can ask any of the 4 of us.
Thank you first of all, thank you to all of you and your team for presenting the information and how you have tweaked your services at Bi-State Development since the arrival of the pandemic in March. It's really good to see how you have been nimble in providing services during a time when people probably need them the most, and and getting to you is quite difficult in person. So I think that is fantastic. I know we had one comment already from Jill congratulating Vlad on a great video, but on the chat box, or Mallory, if you want to put us, it's not that big of a group, if that way people can actually have a dialogue or discussion. I did have one question for all of you. Oh, we have a question here. How are you measuring success with your various programs, Lindsay?
Tiffany and I can both speak to this. Tiff, if you want to, you can. You tell them about Springbrook and.
Yeah, first of all, I want to apologize because no one wants to have to see my face this close this early. So I apologize that my microphone isn't working as well as it should. We use a variety of different measurements. Participation numbers are one thing that we look at. We do a lot of, like we said, we spend a lot of time in the field and just talking to the employees, and we don't want to bring something that they don't want to take part in. That makes no sense to anyone. And so the way that we gauge it, I would say participation numbers, direct feedback from employees. And then we also have a data analytics platform that we utilize that can connect our wellness engagement numbers with our benefits information. So we can really see that the people that are engaged in the wellness program are better consumers of healthcare. We have lower ER utilization compared to those that do not engage in the program. Their cost overall to the company is less. So those are some other big things that we look at as well. So the dollar amount that we're saving, but also just being more educated consumers of healthcare. And I think that's very important.
We can't hear you.
Unmute
There you go.
Sorry, I just like to talk into a vacuum over here. It's my multiple personalities. I should probably come to Mental Health Mondays. No.
They're amazing.
There was an add-on to that is, how have your Mental Health Mondays partnering with Mental Health America been received?
They've been good. So it's all virtual, right? So people are signing up to attend. They're interactive, so people are getting worksheets and that kind of thing to utilize while they're going through the session. But we're also recording them, and making them available the week after to the entire company. So far it's been great. And the mental health part of any wellness program is super difficult because it's not just a one-size-fits-all type of approach. You can't just bring you can bring a biometric screening to work, and that's fine. but mental health is so delicate and so unique for every individual that we've been doing a lot of different things, and we're trying to really chip away at that. And you know, we're taking a lot of different approaches on that and hoping that people become more familiar with therapy services and that kind of thing, and just getting the dialogue moving. But it's been great.
What has been your most successful approach so far? Based on that, based on what you just said.
For mental health?
Yes.
Oh, Linz, I don't know if you have any ideas on that, but you know, my biggest thing is that we have a pretty great benefits plan where therapy services are just a copay for us. And so you know, personally, for me, I think that there's nothing better than someone having a professional to talk to on a one-on-one basis. And that's what we're trying to get people to, that point where they will go out and get their own therapist if they need it. But a lot of people, there's a stigma around it. A lot of people are afraid of that. So, you know, the seminars are well attended. We get a lot of feedback from people. We get people that, and again, going back to the relationships part of it, we get people that will reach out to us when they need help, and then we will connect them. And so, you know, not just designing a program and bringing it to our population, but the relationships part of that, where when they need something, they will come to us. That's huge. And then we're able to directly help them and get them connected to a professional.
So Jill has a question. Are employees on the clock and getting paid while they're attending the company wellness classes, or are they on their own time?
Usually it's on breaks. So, you know, we have a lot of split shifts. We try to do things between split shifts. We do, all of our events are, I mean, gosh, Linz, we hit every shift. So we do like early morning, we do late in the evening, we do all kinds of stuff. So it depends. It's usually up to their manager as well.
Okay. So why do you feel strongly an in-source well-being program is more efficient than an outsourced to a wellness vendor? You obviously have a vested interest in this question, but it just came in. I do want to mention, transit providers across Missouri come in all shapes and sizes. So Bi-State is the largest transit provider in the state of Missouri, with KCATA a second. So some of our providers are not going to be able to have their own in-house wellness coordinator. So what would you recommend to them? And it kind of goes back to this question as well. What about outsourcing to a wellness vendor? What does that look like? And do you have any tips for that?
I feel like that's a long-winded question. You know, you have to do whatever you can do. So there are some good wellness vendors out there. My only advice and tip would be you still have to make sure that whoever is implementing it, whether it be someone in-house or a wellness vendor, is.
If we can't hardly hear you. Sorry.
Yeah. Whoever is implementing a wellness program, again, so whether that's in-house or that's a contractor, you don't want to miss out on it being very personal, like we mentioned. So the only thing about maybe contracting out to a larger wellness vendor is that you just want to make sure that you're not missing that personal component of it. So the fact that our full-time job is being at Bi-State and we're there with them has really helped us and aided in that. However, there's nothing wrong with outside vendors. It's just you want to make sure that you can personalize it to the company.
Okay. So what percentage of your employee base are you seeking mental health assistance right now during this pandemic? Do you guys have a metric on that?
I mean, we try not to keep any like metrics on any of that just because it is so personal. I mean, I can probably like pull it, but that's not, I mean, we don't look at that. If I had to guess, I could maybe guess 10%. I don't know. What do you think, Tiff?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's
Yeah, we try to,
between people seeking the services on their own and what we provide at work. I mean, not enough, I'd say. We always want more.
But have you seen a definite uptick since March in the
Yes.
number of employees? Yes.
Yep. Yep.
So a question has come in. Are your gyms open to just employees right now, or that can family come as well?
Right now, it's just employees. Because of COVID, they've limited capacity. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So we've limited the capacity for our facility for the gyms. It's restricted to only employees that work at that location to kind of mitigate any risk of spreading COVID. But normally, the gyms are open to employees as well as family members. With the supervision of at least the employee there. So we don't want the family member coming in by themselves, but if the employees are with them, then they're absolutely able to take part. And I think that we've had family members work with both Vlad and Kiana.
So question for many of our providers in Missouri, what has been the best platform that you have found, your team has found, to actually get the messaging to the employees? What is the best way you think is that the employees at Bi-State are picking up information about the wellness programming and how they can get involved?
us.
Yeah, we've done a variety of, I mean, when it comes to marketing, we do like 5 or 6 different outlets, including email blasts, including posters. I would say that the number one way that we connect with them is we will send out a postcard in the mail. So we'll put, for example, you saw the schedule for the biometric screenings. We will put that on a postcard and we will send it to everyone's house. And that seems to be, I still think, the best way to get to everyone. We also developed a smartphone application about 2 or 3 years ago now. And it was specific to the wellness department and the wellness program. And the main component of that was just a calendar of events. And so everyone could register through there, sign up, send it to export to their phone or their calendar. And that was well received as well.
Okay. Any questions? I know I'm shooting lots of questions at you. Are there any other questions from our audience that's here today? Okay. So what lesson do you think that your team has learned over the last 8 months as the best way to ensure that the employees at Bi-State are staying healthy and safe? What is the lesson that you've learned that you can share with other transit providers? Biggest obstacle you have overcome that they can take away from this 1-hour workshop?
I want to know if Vlad or Kiana have an idea on that, because they've got a lot of relationships with the employees that work with them on a daily basis, and they've really had to keep up with that. So Kiana or Vlad, do you have any input on that?
Sure. So I would say be as adaptable as possible. We have been pretty good at that just because we have so many different shifts, but now having to incorporate new platforms, it's been a whole new ballgame, but it's been one that we've welcomed. So I think being open to new platforms and then just doing the best you can to meet the need of everyone. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think to add to that is just making sure that you stay in contact with the employees as much as you can, because yesterday I actually called somebody and I didn't get a hold of her, but then she called me back and was just so happy. Like, you could just tell she was so happy that I called, because she's been really sick lately and she hasn't even been able to work that much, but she was so happy that everybody cares about her so much and that we have that relationship. And even when she comes in, she always wants to come in and give me a big hug, and I can't let her, of course, right now. But you know, we do have those kind of relationships where people, you know, don't even know our last names because they're used to calling us by our first name or just a nickname that they gave us. So it's the personability of it is what's the most important, I think.
Okay. So thank you. Those flexibility and communications are key points I think that people can take away from this for their own in-house wellness programs that they have going. So with regards to where we are on the calendar, you know, we're 8 months into a pandemic and we're heading into the holidays, which sometimes have a mental health impact on employees anyway, or even a physical impact on employees. Are you as a team planning anything proactive, special as we head into these next 6 weeks to counteract maybe some issues that may come up because now we're in a pandemic and the holidays to ensure wellness at Bi-State?
Go ahead, Lynn, so you can talk about the site visits.
So yeah, we actually are. Tiffany and I are getting ready to start just a small campaign where we're going to go to each facility, which is, they know we're there. I mean, they see us. We do site visits anyway, but we're actually going to focus on those 3 dedicated therapists. These therapists have actually provided their cell phone numbers for any employee or their family to utilize and get a session with them if they need to talk about anything. We're also trying to keep it a little light. So we do a maintain, don't gain program that Kiana leads and has led over the past few years. So just, we do it every year. We've done it. It's probably one of the funnest, you know, light, you know, just don't gain weight, you know, and win prizes and that kind of stuff, just to keep them engaged, because like we said before, you know, they're all still out there. Most of the 4 of us are too, but if we don't have an event or something like that, we can just move into, you know, our homes and do our work where they can't. So still bringing them the activities that they're used to seeing. We've done that, and then Tiffany and I are going to do kind of the mental health component of that. So we kind of have a physical component going on right now, and we're going to have the mental health component to help them out.
Okay, great. Are there any other questions from our group that's on the call today? I want to know how I can get in on the maintain, not gain program. You know,
Just
that's always
your
a
weight.
challenge for everyone, right? So we're located in St. Louis. Can we get in on that as well?
You can.
So I want to thank all 4 of you for your time today. I think that this has been really helpful and really informative. I think that there's some real nuggets of information that even if you're not as big as Bi-State Development, that you can take back to your internal wellness programs and help to beef those up, especially during this time when there's so much more stress in people's lives than there ever has been before. So I really appreciate all of the information you have provided our participants today. Thank you so much to each of you, and thank you to Bi-State for helping us put this together, and Talby Roads. We really appreciate that support and the ability to share stories across transit providers in Missouri. So thank you for attending, and thank you for providing that information. I want to thank all of you who have joined us today. Keep in mind that we have lots of events in our education series that are available on the Mpta website at mopublictransit.org. Please check it out. As a quick reminder, our conference next year is September 7th through the 9th, and it's in St. Louis. So maybe the wellness team might want to do an in-person workshop next year as a part of the conference. Keep that in the back of your mind so you can showcase locally what you have going on. And if you're not a member of the Missouri Public Transit Association, we really hope that you will consider joining. This is a really important association that provides support not only for transit providers and their employees, but other stakeholders who are involved in the transit conversation in Missouri. So I want to thank you all for your time today. Please stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.